Hey, I hope everyone is doing well. Today I wanted to do a quick book review. I know I haven't done a lot of videos because things have been crazy, but I have still been reading, and I want to share the latest book that I read with everyone, and that is Uncle Tom's Cabin by Harriet Beecher Stowe. This was not a book, so I have found a love of reading the classics since I didn't have to read a lot of them in school, which is kind of, so I had to, when I was in high school, I had to read Shakespeare all 4 years of high school, but I never had to read Dickens. I never had to read Harriet Beecher Stowe. I never had to read, those books, and I have found a love of those as an adult. And so I wanted to read Uncle Tom's Cabin because I had never read it. And, you've heard things about it. And of course, there are, phrases in it that you hear on a regular basis, including the term Uncle Tom. So I wanted to read it because I like to go to source material for that kind of stuff whenever I can. I like to go to source material whenever I can. And I was curious. And I know that this book has been banned in a lot of places because a certain word is used in it a lot. And that's unfortunate because it is a beautifully written book. It is a very powerful story. It was written, kind of on the eve of the Civil War in 1850, 51. It was originally released as a serial in I forget what, like kind of a newspaper, she released it chapter by chapter, and then it was put together and published as a full novel later on. And while it is technically fiction, everything I looked up, did a quick search on Harriet Beecher Stowe after I read it, and just kind of, she's fascinating herself. And while, like I said, technically it's fiction, she says that everything in it is based on real people. So all of the characters are based on real people that she knew about. All of the discussions in it, all of the dialogue in it is taken from dialogue that she overheard or she knew people had said, based on, family members' recollections and experiences. And so it's a very, it's very interesting to read because I've never read anything, about slavery really from the time. It's all been things that I've read written, in modern, like the 1900s, mid 1900s. Looking back on it, I've never read anything from the time. And so I found that really, really fascinating, and just how people felt about it as it was happening. And, from what I got out of this book is that, most people didn't like it. I mean, even in the South, most people didn't like it. It was kind of something they put up with because it was just kind of how they did ththings. At least that's how it's explained kind of in this book. It's just kind of how, there were some people that did it and that had slaves that thought it was the right thing to do. And also, like, Christianity is talked about a lot in the book, and how it's kind of used on both sides. Like, there were Christians that used passages to justify the slavery, and then there were people, like Harriet Beecher Stowe herself, who was the daughter of a pastor, I believe, who used Christianity to say, no, this is not right. We shouldn't be doing these. These are human beings. They have just as much right to freedom as everyone else. And so it's a really good book. I cried more than once. The other thing that I found fascinating in it is because there's a couple of deaths in the book, and I'm not giving anything away by saying that, but her depiction of death is the most realistic that I've ever read. Like, clearly she is someone who had seen it more than once, and whereas other people that I've, books that I've read that include death scenes, these were the most real that I'd ever read. So that was, I don't know, that was just something I found interesting in it. So yeah, I would highly recommend, if you want to read a beautifully written, really powerful story of slavery from the time that, right before the Civil War, when questions about its validity were rampant and people were trying to rid the country of it. And she goes in to say that, yes, this is a huge detriment to the United States, but she doesn't condemn the entire country. And she blames the North as much as the South for it. She goes in to say, like, the North is, the people of the North, the Yankees, are just as culpable in the practice as the people of the South, who actually owned the slaves, because they were allowing it to happen. And so it's a really, really thought-provoking, interesting, and again, powerful book. And I really thoroughly enjoyed it. And I would say it's probably now in my top 10. I really, really liked it. And so I would highly recommend everyone read this book, really. Instead of just listening to people that are looking back at slavery, from a historical point of view, and actually read someone who was living at the time and writing about it, as it was happening. Because that's more, that's really, a powerful thing to do. Yeah, Uncle Tom's Cabin, Harriet Beecher Stowe. It's a wonderful book, and I hope you all check it out. And that is that. I will be back tomorrow with a new video. Just a little quick update on how things are going this month. So check it out. And this book and my next book, this wasn't actually intentional to read this book, and I am now reading Frederick Douglass, and I will be doing that book when I'm finished with it. Did not intend to do them in the month of February during Black History Month, but it's kind of the way it worked out. So I hope you'll have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you tomorrow with a new one. Bye.